Welcome to Flesh and Pod, a flesh and blood podcast, breaking down weekly news and notes from the tournament scene, community drama, game strategy, and more. And now, here are your hosts, Derek and Logan. Welcome to Flesh and Pod, a flesh and blood podcast, breaking down weekly news and notes from the tournament scene, community drama, game strategy, and more. And now, here are your hosts, Derek and Logan.
Hello, and welcome to a special edition holiday gift-giving episode of Flesh and Pod. My name is Logan Peterson. I am your Fapton. I decided I'm going with that. You like it? You like it?
I do.
You do? Okay, good. I want to make sure that one lands. And with us today are the illustrious, the beautiful, the perfect in every way, Bartram Brothers, the faces and brains behind the Realm Games. Jacob, Keith, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. I think Jake's a little. I think he's trying to get sick. He's
Doing my best.
I don't think he's trying. I think he's accomplishing.
It's happened.
Yeah.
I heard him sneeze like 7 times in a row, and I think he pissed himself.
Just a little.
That's what it sounded like. Just peed a little, just a little. But
It was
anyway,
a long con.
it was.
See, right now we can't see them. Instead, what we see is a J and a K, and that was them setting up the just kidding.
I hate you so much. Just right now, I don't like you. I want you to know that. But the reason we have Keith and Jacob here today is so I would call the 2023 Realm Circuit and Realm Rumble a success. Personally, I thought it was a great time. I thought that you two and everybody involved really outdid themselves. But the one thing that we kept hearing that weekend and then on Twitter and then everywhere else was, but what about 2024? So, Keith, what about 2024?
It's an even year.
Is it a leap year?
It is a leap year.
Okay, great.
I think there's Olympics going on.
Yep, that sounds right. It's an election year in the U.S.
It's an election year.
The general, yeah.
Yeah. Did I answer all your questions about 2024?
You did not. We were going to talk specifically about the 50K Realm Invitational.
Oh,
in
that
2024. Yeah, that thing that you're doing. And some of the nuances of this, because again, we've had a lot of requests, we've had a lot of talk, we've had a lot of rumbles, as you were. God, I fucking hate you, Derek. You're the worst. About this, and I've gotten a lot of questions, and I can only imagine that you guys have been inundated with questions about, hey, what's going on? How do I qualify? Where are the events being held? And I said, hey, all in good time, all in due time. Well, due time's kind of here. So what do you got to say? So I know that you sent us a lot of information here, and I've taken some time to digest it, and we're going to kind of go through this. The first step, I think, is qualifying for the 2024 invitational season and the 50K at the end of the year, which that's $50,000, right? You're not giving away like rubles or other forms of currency.
Yeah, that's USD.
Oh, it's definitely USD.
Yeah.
So reading what you sent me here, we have 4 paths to qualifying. Now, the first 3 we're going to touch on, I think, haven't changed, correct? With the regular 24 invites, which are when you win a Realm qualifying event.
Mm-hmm.
The other, RIQs, right? Realm Invitational Qualifiers.
Right.
The regular invites that you can gift, because I think that this was lost in the sauce a little bit until the very end of qualifying season last year, where you can transfer invites.
Yep.
Right. And then you can only hold a certain amount of invites, right? At one time.
Yeah. So yeah, you can hold 3 invites at one time. If you get a 4th invite, you lose it, or you better give it to someone before you get that fourth invite, kind of a deal. The general idea is that we want to make sure that people had a lot of opportunities, to get invites, even if they couldn't necessarily show up to an event. Like I think Mara. I remember talking to Mara. She showed up and vended her art at a lot of our events, and I think she got like an invite from Michael Fang or something like that, so she could play. So we kind of try to model it a little bit like, not exactly, but sort of kind of how LSS does it. It's just small modifications. The difference this year, the biggest difference this year from last year, is we're doing a VIP invite. And what a VIP invite means is it just doesn't expire. So if you get an invite in for the 2024 season, it's only good for the invitational at the end of the 2024 season, but a VIP invite could be used next year or whenever, 2030, whatever you want to use it for. So it's just an eternal invite. That way, we wanted to add something for people who might get busy, or not necessarily be able to like always grind, but then they know like, oh, like I'm going to college next year and I'm not going to be able to go to every tournament like I was, so I can hold my VIP invite for next year, and I know I have an invite coming to 2025.
Gotcha. So there's a couple of things to unpack here for me. One, there's a 2025.
I can only assume there's a 2025.
I mean, not the year. I mean that there's going to be a 2025 invitational. The other one, now, are VIP invites transferable the same way?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So you can, if you have a VIP invite, you can say, hey, I've got 2 VIP invites, willing to transfer you one, and then that person would have a VIP invite for whenever.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's cool. And so on to winning invites. Now, the normal winning is winning, right? Like you win an RIQ, you place in one of the Rumble events, Brawl events. The Rumble is the end of the year. One of the Brawl events. That's how you just secure an invite, correct? None of that has changed.
Yep, none of that's changed. And just kind of make sure that's clear, because again, some of this is a little bit lost in the sauce, as you said. LGSs, pretty much anywhere in the world, we don't really care where they run them at, as long as they are running them legally in their country. That's between the LGS and the country they're doing it in. But you can buy a package from the Realm and run a Realm Invitational qualifier at your store, and then based on the package you purchased and the number of players who show up to the event, there'll be a number of invites that are given out digitally to those players.
And we'll get into that here in a moment, because I think that's kind of another deeper dive that I want to do, because
sorry.
Don't apologize. You're the one that does incredible stuff. So I'm just the one that curses on the internet frequently and puts up with Charmer. So
gotcha.
The VIP invites were really the striking part of this when I read it. And I know I asked you quite a few questions about them, because they're the change, right? They're
right.
The biggest change. So how does one acquire a VIP invite?
So typically they're going to be at the bigger events, like Brawls, any other events that the Realm gets to run for LSS. I don't want to let too much out of the bag, but we're working with LSS on trying to run some events this next year like we did in the past. So people will be expecting all the usual stuff there. So we're going to jazz some of those up with extra VIP invites, and typically the structure is going to be like first place prize would get the VIP invite, and then the other positions for those tournaments would get regular season invites.
So I have 2 questions. Okay. The first is, obviously, I think the brawls are included in that, but as Logan said, and I know that you can't share all of the details, but which tier or what's going to be your like line of demarcation for how you know that a VIP one will be up for grabs? Like, is it going to be at a scuffle, a fracas, a fray, a rumpus, an altercation, a scrum? Like, which of the between brawl and rumble and the other one,
Pittsburgh parking lot at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday.
a
Sure.
wrangle. So that's question one, and you can feel free to just respond on Twitter or something and post it. The second one was, if I do win a VIP invite, can I use it for the $1 million artifact tournament?
Okay, so first of all, I'm really sad that you just let out all of our buzzwords in one fell swoop. So how are we going to name?
He never said street fight.
Well, there you go. Now I can't use that one. Thank you.
Damn it.
Okay, so these VIP invites will be announced as a part of the package for the events. So whether it's a brawl or even if the realm did a road to nationals and we wanted to pump that up, or if there's like, this is hypothetical, I'm not saying this exists, but I'm saying, like, say there is a bunch of crazy people from, let's just pick a random city in Pennsylvania, like Greentree, and like, say some random store in Greentree, Pennsylvania decided to run an event and it was really cool, and we kind of worked it out, and we would kind of elevate that event and go, hey, go ahead and announce that your top 4 is going to get invites, but first place will get a VIP invite. So that way they'll be able to market it that way, and it's just kind of a way to like help elevate and highlight some events that are a little bit more premier than just like a smaller event or something where you have some people going the extra mile. Like something that would have, I'll give you an example of what happened in 2023. Like the guys up in New York ran like a 2-day event, and they put all this really cool stuff on, but we didn't really have any way to go, thank you for like going the extra mile and making this event like just really epic.
Shout out to Jimmy Ray. But
yeah. Like, so it would be a way for us to go like, hey, here's a thank you for like going above and beyond. So go ahead and tell market that the first place gets a VIP invite.
So next question, because I'm a greed monger. Do your favorite content creators get those to give away?
I mean, anything can happen, I guess I can message Matt and see who's some other content.
You love the 3 floating kids.
Yeah.
3 floating guys. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're big fans of the Manor podcast as well.
The Manor podcast. Yeah. Man,
even though they're on a hiatus, I believe.
I wish I could just think of any other one.
Yeah, I mean, we're running out. Fresh and
we
Buds.
Are running out.
You love Tommy.
Oh, Fresh and Buds. Yeah.
Pitch Perfect. You Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect.
It's great for the next Rainbow Pitch League. I mean,
I was just gonna say, honestly, throwing in a VIP invite for like part of the winner of the Rainbow Pitch League would be
that's
a really pretty cool thing to do. Just saying, if you wanna upgrade that from like a fisticuffs to a dust up, for example.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to avoid saying "come to blows" though, because anything that involves blows, me and Logan have the copyright to.
Oh, okay.
Because we exchange blows often.
Not the kind you're thinking of either. But so I would say that I think this is a really cool thing. I honestly feel like this is a good level up for what it means to win one of these events. And it's also good because, with these types of things, longevity is key for investment, right? And this tells everybody that you're planning well beyond where you're at. And that helps with investment a lot, with players coming in saying, well, I want to play in this, but I don't know if I'll use an invite this year. But if it has a VIP attached to it, it's like, well, it doesn't matter if I use it this year. I can keep going. And then having the wherewithal and knowledge that going forward will still hold value. Right. So that matters a ton. Jacob, are you done sneezing, or do you have anything to add to just that part of it?
I'm listening intently.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
Kind of as the I'm going to make you
to paraphrase Jacob.
Yeah, basically.
As kind of the guy that has worked a lot with your the coverage that you guys put out there, which is exceptional, by the way. Now Derek is laughing uncontrollably, so perfect. I'm going to make you talk a bit, Jacob. I don't apologize for this whatsoever, but we know that the Realm partnership with Free Floating is a big deal, and Sam O'Byrne helps you guys a ton with your coverage and everything else, and he's exceptional both on the mic and off. We also know that you put in a lot of work behind the scenes to make that go. What are your is there anything new and different that's going to be coming with the 2024 series? Are you going to try to it's honestly, I feel like it's very hard for you guys to find ways to up your game now that is more than quality of life improvements, because what you do is already incredible. But is there anything in the pipeline to kind of pump up the players more, or to create a better viewing experience? Which, again, I don't know how you do that, but as the person that kind of spearheads that a little bit, what can you tell us about 2024?
Yeah, so I definitely think that we have a lot of room for improvement. So when we first started way back when, and Derek came actually and did cast our first event, that was literally me in this room trying to figure out how to do it on the computer. It was awful. So every event we got better, and we got to a point where Keith and I talked, and we brought on Sam and Austin. If you were at the Rumble, you'd have seen him walking around taking a lot of video. So we brought both those guys on to really take the production to another level. I think everyone who was involved could tell a huge difference at the Rumble with those guys being there. And then our non-live content too, those guys are working on a ton of stuff. So I think that bringing those guys on that have a little bit more knowledge and experience is going to be able to help us, just overall make it cleaner and more exciting for people who aren't able to attend an event to still be able to enjoy some good content.
Like I said, I don't know. I'm not behind the cameras with you guys or in front of them or anything really. I'm just the guy that's there. But honestly, I don't know where you see that room for improvement, but I'm very encouraged that you do, because the product you're putting out is already fantastic. So I just want to make sure I got that in there. It's very important to, compliment as deserved. And at this point in time, I believe that the coverage levels that you guys presented are exceptional. Except for employing Derek, you probably could do better. So Keith, we're going to hop back to the kit distribution and kind of how do LGSs get involved with the Realm circuit?
Yeah, so we're going to try to coordinate, and I'll have to get with you, Logan, into doing this, but we'd like to coordinate. We're going to make some pages live on our website, which will kind of detail this information out so they can go back and read it. But essentially, we thought it'd be kind of fun to play with the red, yellow, and blue levels of Flesh and Blood. So that's kind of the general idea here. You can buy a blue, yellow, red package for your LGS. And basically, it goes just like it does in Flesh and Blood. Blue is going to be the smaller number, but gives you more value. Red's gonna cost a little more, but give you a better bang for your buck. So on the website, it'll show all this, but every 4 weeks, an LGS can run a Realm Invitation qualifier from January 1st until October 29th of 2024. And a blue costs 50, a yellow costs 100, and a red costs 200. And basically, it'll outline how that works, and each tier gives you more invites that you offer for your event. And it also has some extra requirements that the store would have to do for prize support. We want to make sure that there's confidence in the players and the community that, if they show up to, a blue event, they know there's going to be at least something there for them. And if they show up to a red event, they know that it's going to be at least, I think that's at least $1,000 cash prize.
Red is 2K. Sorry. That's one of the things I wanted to get into because
Yeah.
that is called out in here. Where for the minimum prize support, so one, there should be a $150 event called a Blue Block 3, but we'll get into that later.
Sure.
So the minimum prize support in the last round was cash, but you're also sending physical kits. And
Right.
so this is a big change because I think that did actually have an impact early on with participation. And so I think that this is much cleaner doing it digitally. Again, personal opinion, your mileage may vary, but
Yeah.
I do like that the prize support is called out in these. So a blue event will have a minimum prize support of $500. So that can be a combination of cash, store credit, or product, but there's no minimum cash at all.
Right.
And then a yellow event, which would have a 2x XP multiplier, and we'll get to that in a minute. But you would have a minimum of $500 in cash and a minimum of $750 in total compensation to players. In any combination. And then the red events would be 4 invites, 3x multipliers. Again, we'll get that in a second. With a minimum prize pool of 2K with a 1K cash prize guaranteed. So I think that this is smart because it does tell players exactly what they're getting into and is much more clear in how these are structured. What made you kind of go this route?
Well, a couple of things. So the first, obviously 2023, no one's done something like this for Flesh and Blood, and it was like, well, we have to start someplace. So we kind of worked backwards into our price scheme. We kind of came up with the cost of the products and shipping the products, the average cost of doing all that, and then we, kind of worked backwards that way. But the other thing we also did was we did make a minimum. I think we did $500 cash was the minimum prize support for it.
Yep.
And basically what that did was we figured out it would roughly take, I think it was either 24 or 26 players for the average store to break even.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of felt like, we don't have the information that LSS has on feedback from players for stores. So we wanted to make sure that stores who are like, 26 people for this event, I'll take that risk to do that because I should be able to. I already do that basically, and it kind of helped us figure out what stores are doing a good job running events or not, because we just didn't have the information LSS had. But through that, we did learn that there were some stores on the cusp where they're like, man, I think I could get 16 or 20 players, but the cost is just a little bit too much of a risk for me. So we were like, well, if we cut out the physical products, that can save some dollars on our side. And then if we also make it so that a store could use store credit or product or something like that, not only cash, then it allows for some smaller stores to dip their toe into the bigger picture and to kind of risk a little something without it really being super detrimental to their tournament budget. And that's kind of how we fell into this go round. And we had a lot of stores too who are like, man, I would love to run a 2K for you guys. Like, what can you do for that? And we're like, well, we have one kit last year, there's one option, and we kind of made a one size fit all, and we realized that just wasn't there. So this year we're going to try to have a little bit of a gradient and make it so that there's just a little bit more room to flex with smaller stores and bigger stores.
Now, if we talk about XP and XP multipliers on here, so XP qualifications were a thing last year. And again, something I think that got lost in the sauce because there was a lot of people that just didn't know they were qualified. And then they found out, right? And most of them were very excited to find out. But I think that that's a lot clearer now within the player base. And then, so XP will be the top 72 that aren't already qualified, correct?
Yeah. So real quick, last year, okay, I tend to make Rube Goldberg machines, and I love to make something that's so simple as complicated as possible. Uh, and that I fell prey to that a little bit last year with the way we did the XP thing, and it was in my mind it all worked out really cool because I was like, there's all these different like size tournaments and brackets, and those would give different XP out. In reality, what was happening was I was the only person who understood it and cared about it, and everyone else just wanted to know whether they qualified or not. And so like that's why a lot of people I don't think really were really invested in even figuring out if they're qualified, how they got their XP, and how they could like get that to be better. So it kind of again went back to the drawing board, took a bunch of feedback, and we made it real simple. And it works like this: if you're at a qualifying realm event, and a side, this works with side events and everything. So if you're at a qualified realm event that's a part of our circuit, every win gives you 5 points, just plain and simple. If you do a on demand draft and you win 3 times, you got 15 points for your XP. Just that easy and simple. And then for the bigger events, we'll give everyone 5 points for just registration. So that's bam, done. But then what we can do is we can give multipliers for a bunch of different things. So if for example in the yellow tier, if you top 8 in a yellow tier and you don't get an invite, then however many points you would have gotten for that event, you now get 2 times that. So if you won, say you won 6 times, that would be 30 points. So it'd actually be 60 points because it's a 2 times multiplier for your top 8. Now, if you're 9th, you'd still only get your regular points.
Oh, well, obviously.
Obviously.
But okay, so and then we have multipliers attached to the yellow events and the red events. I'm gonna guess that that's sort of just the pot sweetener, right?
Yeah. To make those events feel a little bit more premier, and we did this last year, and I think this worked out pretty good. So we're going to continue this year. So if you go to an event and you win an invite, you don't get any experience for that event. The reason behind that is we're trying to make it so that people who were on that cusp of getting an invite have a greater chance to place and get into the tournament. That way they're still getting rewarded for their great effort. And then what we did was if you win an invite, your place in the ranking, you just automatically tie for the lowest person of the same points or similar points. So for example, if Derek had a million XP and he had an invite, he would be tied for first for whoever was next. And that way people who have invites aren't bumping XP people out. Because then otherwise, if you, because like last year I think it was about 126 invites that went out.
Yep.
And something like is around that number. So if 126 invites went out, then your top 72 are mostly going to be the people with the invites. And that just doesn't feel good. So that's kind of how that works. So the top 72 people who basically don't have invites but have those points are tied for the lowest of those points would get in. So it could be more than 72 people because that's what we did this time too. So how it worked this in 2023 was I think 80 or 90 points was, I think we did top 64 this year. So the 64th person had 80 points. So then every other person who also had 80 points tied for 64th. That way there's just, y'all get it. You're all coming, you're all tied for that position. Now, if one person would have gotten, if the 64th person would have gotten like 5 more points and went up to like 85, then all those people would have been bumped out because they're not tied for 64th anymore.
Oops.
Yeah.
So we know that. So a couple of last minute things here. I did notice on the events that they are protected by a drive radius. What's the thought process there?
Well, the thought process there was I've run events at the Realm for we run all events for all kinds of games, not just Flesh and Blood. And I remember one time there was I don't even remember which like card game it was for, but there was another card game, and some of my players and even like some of the reps were like, "Hey, why don't you guys give this a try where you can run like a qualifier at your store?" I'm like, "Okay, sure, I'll give it a try." And I think we had to pay like $500 or something for the kit. I mean, it was like a thing. And so we got it all set up. They helped us get it set up. And then we started marketing. And then, like, about 3 weeks after we started marketing, we found out someone else about an hour away was doing one on the same weekend. And so now players in our area were like, well, do we go to the Realm or to go to the other one? And, like, now players had to figure out where to go. And I was just like, man, that feels really bad. Like, that like I set this up and then someone else came weeks later and set up on the same day. So we would like to try to protect those radiuses. So like if once you go through the process, once the LGS buys a kit, it'll send us an email, then we'll email back and we'll work with them. And then once we get that squared away and that date locked in on our side, on the back end side, then and someone else comes along, will protect the radius of your event to make sure that people in that area are motivated to come to your event. And if two stores in the same area want to run an event, then they're going to have to pick a different day or something. That way, we're just protecting the events to make sure that stores have a fighting chance to make it worthwhile for them. So there's a little bit of protection for the stores.
That's I mean, makes sense to me. Last one from me. Is there anything, I guess, is it possible for an LGS to attach a Realm qualifier to like a Road to Nats or a ProQuest or something along those lines? Is there any guideline that says you can't do that?
Well, that's a great question.
I'm full of those.
Yeah, so as of right now, we are encouraging stores not to do that. It's on a discussion board with the Realm and LSS about it. They're not necessarily against it, but what they do want to make sure is that like the waters aren't muddied between like a ProQuest per se and a Realm invite. And so, and I get that because like they're also doing a whole real cool circuit. So they want to make sure that that's all like hunky dory. So right now, the only things that they've like explicitly said we could do would be like when we're running brawls, those are PTIs, but they're gifting the PTIs to our event. It's not the other way around, if that makes sense. So like I'm running a Realm event and LSS is gifting that event with a PTI. Whereas if I was running a PTI, I would need to ask LSS if I can attach a Realm thing on there. So
Yep.
TOs can talk to me about it. It's a little bit of a weird nuance, but generally speaking, that's not the best way of going about it for now.
Fair enough. Derek, do you have anything else?
I'm still waiting to hear if the VIP will get me into the $1 million artifact tournament.
What artifact tournament is this?
Oh, you're killing me. All right, fine. I will educate you later.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want to take the time now?
No. We're already
Past.
we're wasting enough of Keith's time with my nonsense.
I did say 20 minutes and we're at 33, so but that's honestly, thank you again for the opportunity to talk about this with you and get it out there in front of people. I think that if the year end of 2023 told us anything, it was that people really enjoy the Realm events and coming to them and jamming out. And we had the best players in at least the Northern Hemisphere, felt like, or at least in North America at that event in Columbus. And I think that people chasing these qualifications, especially with the levels of coverage, because people like to see themselves on camera and things. Well, I mean, some people do, and I believe that we're just in it for even more success. And I am, again, so grateful to be a part of this. I know that we're the redheaded stepchild of content creators, but we kind of put ourselves there. But you guys have always treated us with a great amount of aplomb, if nothing else. And we love you for it. But we also love you for putting on these events for the players, because if there's anything, and I will go to my grave with this, the thing that sets the Realm apart from everyone else is that you put on events for the players, and it shows every single time. We appreciate you. We appreciate you giving us the opportunity to tell people about this. And again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Keith, Jacob, is there anything else you want to add?
So, okay. So, just really quick, Keith was kind of mentioning this earlier. Something else that we're going to be adding, because I do most of, or a lot of the social media stuff for the store. And a lot of people throughout this year were asking us, how can I get a RTI or a Realm event in our area? Or what's the contact point? So something that we are working on and will be attached on our website and Twitter, Facebook, anytime we make announcements. We plan on having, there'll be 3 or 4 different contact points with emails, and it'll be mapped out. If you're in New York, you'll be able to see who the rep is for that area and an email contact for you or the store to contact them, to really help LGSs and players be able to get more events out to different parts of anywhere in the world. There'll be a rep for everybody.
And then I was just gonna say a big thank you to all the community for like entrusting us with these events. It's a lot of work and a lot of fun too. And I think we have a great team that makes a big difference. And I was telling our team, if you do your job right, very few people are going to tell you that you're doing it right. But if you do it wrong, they're going to be quick to let you know. And the other most important thing too is if people think our job is easy, then we're doing our job correctly.
Absolutely true.
Yeah. So it takes a lot of work and forethought to make things look smooth and easy. So and that's it's a good team, good people behind that. So it's a big thank you to our team and then the community, because they helped us as we took a leap of faith here and said, I think this is a cool idea, and everyone else said, yeah, we think you're right.
Awesome. Well, everybody, we hope to see you at a Realm Brawl in 2024. And even more so, we hope to see you at the Realm Rumble, the 50K, at the end of 2024. So get out there, harass your LGS. It's not harass, but maybe cajole. Is that a good word? Cajole.
Yeah.
Cajole. Your LSS is into hosting a qualifying
Cudgel?
event. Cudgel? No, cudgel is beating somebody. We don't do that.
Yeah.
No, that's what Charmer does. And or tells his kids that he was going to do, but Uncle Logan talked them out of it.
Listen, I use a cudgel so that I can play pummel.
Oh boy.
Hold on. Yep. Okay. Club, cudgel. Okay. Yep. You're good. And this is how everything devolves around here. It's always Derek's fault. But but at any rate, I really hope to see all of you at Realm events this year, and please get those RIQs firing, because I can guarantee you the 50K is going to be absurdly fun. So please get in there, and I hope to see you there. Everybody have a great holiday season. What I do? I didn't do it.
No. There was one thing I forgot. We kind of talked about this like pre-game here, but we are really close to being able to announce a lot of our schedule next year. We're basically waiting on some confirmation for some venues, but so look for our website announcements, but we'll have all that up soon. And The Rumble will be kind of expected in a similar space. That's my dog. That's
The
my
dog's
dog.
just really excited
He's
for the
really
announcement.
excited.
Yeah,
He's trying to spoil it all, but thankfully nobody speaks dog.
he wants his ball, but he doesn't want to get it. So I don't know what his problem is. Anyway, but the Rumble next year should be early fourth or late fourth quarter, like it was this year. So that way you can kind of sort of plan.
Yep. And you know what, folks? Here's what's going to happen. Keith, once he knows the schedule, he's going to give it to me ahead of time. I'm making this up as I go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to put it in the announcement section of our Discord. So if you join the Flesh and Pod Discord, you'll know ahead of time. Keith, I need you to do that now, by the way.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Well, I put it out there. It's on me. But again, thank you, everybody. Happy holidays. And I hope to see you all in 2024. Have a good one. Bye.